Hello, you good-looking lot. It's Gav Mack from Two Up Top, and it's this week's Top 5 at 5, and this week it's the bargain bin. Who's the best transfer? Well, not necessarily the best transfer, but who's the absolute bargain buys out there? I'm joined, as always, by Alex Osborn and Stephen Buck. How are you, gents?
Very well, thanks, mate. You?
Welcome aboard. It's 7 o'clock, as always, for our Top 5 at 5s. I'm going to go first because I'll do what I want. Before I go first, I'll let you know that you can follow us on all social media links. At Two Up Top Football is the link for Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. You know, yeah, it's down there. I'll tell you what, I'll point that way. It'll be around somewhere. Anyway, here we go. Number 5, bargain buys in the Premier League era. Number 5, Ayoze Perez. He was signed for £1.5 million and he was sold for £28 million. And I think that is an absolute steal. I think Ayoze Perez is one of the most underrated players in the Premier League. And I think he should have made a move to Liverpool, honestly. You know, like when Liverpool were going through their transition and they didn't really know what was going on once they got rid of Suarez and that sort of stuff. Ayoze Perez, and I still think even now he'll be able to do a job at Liverpool. Even as a backup, if necessary, he could start. I think he's absolutely fantastic baller. I'm naughty. So I had 2 at 5. Joint 5th.
Oh, bonus one.
Nicholas Anelka.
Top 5.
Yeah, I know, it's naughty. I had to do joint 5s, yeah. Nicholas Anelka, signed for £500,000, bought for 23. Bought for £500,000, sold for £23 million.
Yeah.
And
2 seasons later to Real Madrid.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean? I just think I've got a feeling someone else is going to mention him, so I will let someone else give them a little mention in regards to, you know, what that money did.
No doubt it'll be Bucky because we all know he's a closet gooner.
Very true, yeah. So, poor gooner. Oh dear. Right then, number 3, Marc Albrighton from Aston Villa.
Free transfer.
To Leicester. Free transfer. Now, he wasn't regarded at Villa anymore. It's like, well, you've had your time here, I'll let you go. And he goes on and wins the title with Leicester. So he was integral to that team. I don't understand how he didn't get picked in the Euro 2016 squad that year. But he's Mr. Consistent. He could play on the left wing, he could play on the right wing, and they picked him up for nothing. So how could you ever moan at him for that? Number 3, some might say it's a little bit left field. I'm going for Lucas Radebe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Field one.
Big 50k he was bought for. 50k from South African outfit named, a rock band named after them since then in the Kaiser Chiefs. He was a stalwart for Leeds United.
Side that managed to get it through into the Champions League.
And also, as obligation, we have to keep our at least one per show Leeds reference, don't we? You know?
Yes, we do. You know, there's no Calvin Phillips, mind. No offense, Greek. My number 2, I've gone for a goalkeeper.
Ooh.
Edwin van der Sar, signed for £2 million from Fulham. Now, when he went to Fulham, I thought it was the end of his career. He's won Champions Leagues. He's won titles everywhere he's been. He's gone to Fulham as a see you later, sayonara. And then next thing you know, Man United have bought him, and then he's gone on and won the league, won the Champions League with them. What a signing for £2 million. You say, well, £2 million is not necessarily a bargain for the age he was, but the impact he had. I think it's unquestionable what he did.
And United had gone through quite a few seasons where they couldn't quite nail down a decent goalkeeper, could they?
Yeah, so then when they buy a 74-year-old goalkeeper, you're thinking, well, they're going to fail again, aren't desperate. They? But, you know, they didn't, and it absolutely benefited them. And my number 1...
Was it Basimo Taibbi that he come in to replace?
No, he was there to replace Tim Howard at that
Oh,
point.
yeah, the American goalkeeper.
Yeah,
Howard.
Man United have had a wonderful array of goalkeepers over there. What we might do actually in future show is top 5 worst goalkeepers in Manchester United's Premier League history. I think we'll all have the same 5, but it'd just be interesting to see what orders we'll do them in. Man United fans, be in touch. Let us know what your thoughts are. My number 1, it's got to be Seamus Coleman.
Oh, what a player!
Is now
Cracking
just about
guy.
is just about eligible now for his testimonial. It's been there for 10 years, and they picked him up for 60 grand.
Yeah,
Absolute steal.
yeah.
And I'll be surprised if none of you ain't got him as number 1. And that's all I'm saying on that one. Bucko.
Yo,
Buckinio.
I've got one word to say about that. Journeyman. Absolute journeyman.
Who?
Seamus Coleman.
Seamus Coleman?
Journeyman.
What by going from different hospital to different hospital?
anything to fix a broken leg.
Exactly. Right. Buckinio
So,
Faso.
who's
Your top 5.
My number 5, Leicester forward, former England striker, Jamie Vardy. Signed from
J-Vard.
league football for £1 million back in 2012, I think it was. So that's still cheap money for not so long ago. And since then, he's delivered 265 appearances, 119 goals, and 99 Premier League goals.
That's madness. He's going to be part of 100 Club soon, and I've got a lot of time for that. And tell you what, he absolutely deserves it as well.
Yeah, he scored 57 in his last 3 seasons. That's huge numbers. £1 million, absolute bargain.
Absolute steal. Who's your number 4?
Number 4 is a former Spurs and Arsenal player who signed on a free transfer over to Arsenal, and I refuse to name him. We are burning his T-shirts over at White Hart Lane if we can find any on eBay. But
I'm sorry, Bucky. I don't know who you're talking about. What's his name?
I don't know.
That's what, Alex. Alex, don't worry about it, bruv. I've got you covered.
Judas, I think his surname is. Yeah, Judas.
I don't recognise that name.
It's all right, Alex. Don't worry about it. I've got it covered. Who's... Oh, dear. But when you watch this back, who's your number 3?
My number 3 was Nicholas Anelka. So covered off, signed for a paltry amount of money, sort of about £500,000 he was signed for in the end, 500 grand. Went off to Real Madrid for 22.3 million 2 years later. And I think he's actually had combined transfer fees of £90 million over the course of his career. Just a stellar goal scoring forward, and he's won stuff wherever he's gone.
And the reason why he's a bargain is just because of that £23 million. It didn't just go into the bank. It bought London Colney Stadium, the London Colney training facility, which is arguably, up until Spurs finally got round to
at the
joining
time,
us.
anyway. At the time,
it was the training facility.
In probably world football at the time, even England were training there, and any teams that would come over would use it. And the other half of the money they used to sign some French lad who became the best.
I don't know if anybody heard of him though.
Terry something.
All right.
Yeah,
Terry Henry.
Something. Terry Henry. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's it.
He scored a few goals. He was all right. He was
all right. Average. Buck, who's your number 2?
My number 2, I went for Seamus Coleman.
Oh, you went there. You went at number 2.
Did. I went there. Absolute bargain. 60 grand initially. I think it actually went up to about 300k once they included the add-ons and bonuses and stuff. But
which is still nothing, isn't it?
Still nothing. And the guy is a player. He might be playing for Everton, and we'll look past the fact that what are Everton.
Well, I don't know. What are Everton? We'll be able to do that.
What a player he is, and let's be fair, he could have graced most sides that are above Everton in the league and still been a top fullback.
You're not having it. You're not having him.
No, I'm not having it. In terms of
come
what
on.
Bucky said there, I'm not sure he could grace pretty much most sides above Everton. I don't know about that.
Yeah, there's a
from
Everton that takes Seamus Coleman in his prime, definitely.
from when he came over up until 2016, 2017, he would start for 17, 18 of those Premier League sides. Okay, which ones would he start above? Very quickly.
I wouldn't take him at any of the top 5, 6 sides in the Premier League.
You wouldn't take him at Man United at right back?
No.
What at Man United at the time? You got to think they had Valencia playing right back.
Valencia,
you have Antonio Valencia over.
Yeah. Because there's nothing that Seamus Coleman does that's anything better than Antonio Valencia.
You are absolutely kidding me. I'll tell you what, we're gonna have to do another show another time and discuss this, because you must be drunk. And number one, who's your number one, Buck?
My number one was actually Peter Schmeichel. By Sir Alex for about £500,000. And I mean, we don't even need to rattle off the amount of trophies that guy has picked up over the course of his career and the influence that he had on that United side. Granted, in the early 90s, still a reasonable sum of money, so he wasn't a free transfer. He wasn't picked up for 60 grand, not Seamus Coleman, but the influence that he had on that club.
Oh, he's won so many trophies.
I'm pretty certain, as Sir Alex said in his book, it was the bargain of the century. I think he actually described it as. I think.
Yeah.
Well, more of a bargain than the most overrated player in the history of the Premier League, Eric Cantona. Alex. It's your top 5.
You can't go with me about never mind. Yeah, go on, sorry.
Who's your number 5?
Right, okay. So just before I get into my players here, I just wanted to say the reason why I chose mine is because they all went on to win the Premier League. Isn't that right, Bucky?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Well, you'll soon find out, mate. You'll soon find out. So number 5, it is. I think he's one of the only players actually to do this in the Premier League era. I think he might be the only one, but he won Premier League back-to-back seasons for 2 different clubs. But it's N'Golo Kanté. When Leicester signed him, when Leicester signed him from, I believe it was from Le Havre. I think it was.
No, he was signed from. I couldn't tell you. There's another player signed from Le Havre.
Yes. Oh, yes. No, I always get those two mixed up. I'm sorry, I can't remember the club that he was signed on, but I know it was around about £8 million, and he was an absolute revelation that season. He came in almost like a wrecking ball, if you want to look at it that way, and led pretty much Leicester to the league title, along with one other player that we've already mentioned, in Jamie Vardy, and one that is potentially going to be mentioned in a few moments' time. But N'Golo Kanté definitely is up there for one of the bargains of the Premier League era for me.
Okay, who's number 4?
Number 4, he's some Arsenal fans still haven't forgiven him. But, you know, I would like to think that maybe we're not as spiteful as Whitelock down the road. But Robin Van Persie, when he signed for Arsenal from Feyenoord, for around about £4 million, I believe it was.
It was about 4 million. Sold for about 27.
Yeah. Okay, he didn't win the Premier League with Arsenal. He definitely won it with Manchester United, though. However, in his time at Arsenal, he proved to be, when he was on the field, that is, one of the best strikers in the world. He had skill, he had a hammer of a left foot, he could head the ball, lead the line, and I was a little bit upset when he left Man United, but that actually never really bothered me too much because I recognised why he left Arsenal at that time. Mm-hmm. And he was always one of my favourite players, mainly because I thought he was very, very good to watch.
And I think when he left Arsenal, he was quite clear and transparent why he left. There wasn't any kind of like hidden daggers and hidden agendas there. He was quite open and just said, look, I want to go because I want to win the league.
I think that's the reason why I didn't feel aggrieved by it either. You know, he had ambition. He left and went to a club and won the title in the first. He won them the title that year as well.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason why it'd make me a little bit upset is because it would be the fact that Arsenal weren't the team that wanted to match that ambition. So, You know,
don't think they could at
it's
the time,
not a knock on the RVP. It's more a knock on the leadership at Arsenal at that time. Number three.
Number 3.
He was my favourite player. I was there for his debut, and I remember seeing it. And I've mentioned this before. I'm sure I have, but I straight away thought this kid is going places. And Cesc Fàbregas is the my number 3.
Out.
Signed from Barcelona's academy for less than £3 million, and he went on to be Arsenal captain and brought us such memorable moments as Arsenal player. Fantastic midfield player. He could control the tempo. He could score goals. He could create. He had a bit of a nasty streak to him. He could. He could do pretty much everything. Then we sold him on to Barcelona for around about 25, 26 million, which wasn't probably the full value that we could have got for him at the time we sold him. But unfortunately, the circumstances gone in such a way that we were kind of held over a barrel from it. But he did eventually come back to the Premier League, went to Chelsea, and he did win on the Premier League, continuing all of the players so far in my list having won the Premier League.
Wasn't he the second youngest captain Arsenal had since Tony Adams?
Something like that, yeah.
I mean, that's the level that he was at such a young age. He was an incredible player.
Absolute leader, mate.
Yeah, great shout. Great shout.
Number two. Now, this lad was part of the triumvirate of players that won Leicester the Premier League. And I believe this was the guy that was signed from Le Havre for just less than £500,000, and that would be Riyad Mahrez. And this was in the era when transfer fees were getting up in the multi-millions of pounds. I'm pretty certain at this point we'd actually had £100 million player in the market. So to sign him for less than £500,000 and to actually win, to be an integral of the Leicester side that actually went on to win the Premier League, what a bargain!
I've got to tell you, he was actually lucky to get in, because if it wasn't for a terrible attitude from Anthony Knockart, he would have actually been moved on. Because at Leicester at the time, when they were still in the Championship, Anthony Knockart was the guy who was in his position and was starting every week, but his attitude was absolutely stinking. So they chinned him off. They binned him. And that's the reason how Riyad Mahrez was able to step up into that position, and look what he's gone on and done.
Well, even in those circumstances, it don't matter. It's a bargain in my eyes. And they eventually sold him to Man City, where he went on to win the Premier League with them. But they sold him for like nearly 62 million pounds. So that's over a £60 million profit there for Leicester. So again, bargain. And my number one is the king, Sol Campbell. That's right. Nothing more needs to be said. Free transfer. Went on to be part of a team that actually, at the time, were the best team in England, and he left some sorry white team behind. And he went on to win the numerous FA Cups and went to a couple of Premier Leagues, including one which they didn't lose a game for the whole season. Yeah, King. I mean, I don't recall any Judas or anything like that at all.
Definitely Judas. Do you know why Spurs fans have such a problem with how he left and why he left? Because it wasn't actually the fact of like the Robin van Persie side, where it's quite transparent and they go, look, I'm off to win a title, I'm off to win trophies, you can't pay me, see you later. There was months of drawn out negotiations and words that were coming out saying, I just want you to match my ambitions. Spurs go and sign, I think it was Sergei Rebrov for about £11 million, which at the time I think he was the second highest goal scorer in the Champions League.
He was
some level of ambition.
Rebrov was only very good because he played alongside Shevchenko. Those two, it was that partnership. If you bought them both, you probably would actually be able to go and done something. You might have won a title, but you probably won't.
I've actually just got a bonus player here, Gavin. I know you haven't got the graphic for him, but bonus player for me, JJ Okocha. Also signed on a free from Bolton, from PSG. So good they named him twice. And he gave us many entertaining moment when he was in the Premier League lighting it up for Bolton. So
I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to take that one away from you, Alex, because I think there's about 10 bargain buys from Bolton, and we could do a show on Bolton bargain. We'll do a show on Man United's worst 5 goalkeepers and we'll see our order, and we'll do a show on Bolton bargain bin, because we'll call it that, Bolton's bargain bin. Let's do that. Hey, look, as Alex said at the beginning of the show, if you sign, like, share and subscribe to all our bits and bobs down here, everyone's pointing in different directions, but we'll make sure it's plastered everywhere you can see it. If you've got an idea for a top 5, let us know. Give us a shout. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, even find me on LinkedIn if you want to, YouTube. Write a little comment and find a little something, and you'll be able to get in contact with us, and we'll feature your idea. But from everybody here, thank you and goodbye.